so ons is terug en ons gaan ons laaste toepassingsklasie doen en dan is ons klaar met ons meetkunde hoofstuk en dan kan julle al die baie oefeninge in die handboek lekker gaan oefen. So let's start there on the left hand side and we're going to start with this. They tell us that ABCD is a parallelogram. Dit is 'n parallelogram. Dit is gegee. A, B, C, D is 'n parallelogram. En dan sê hulle ook dat ED is gelyk aan BF and that's why it's marked. ED equals to BF. So the question now is prove EBFD as a parallelogram. So wanneer ek het al reeds ED gelyk aan BF, so as ek kan bewys dat ED ook ewewydig is aan BF, dan moet dit 'n parallelogram wees want een paar oorstaande sye is dan gelyk en ewewydig. That's the only thing that I need to do. One pair of opposite sides must be equal and parallel, then it's a parallelogram. So let's start. We know that ABCD is a parallelogram. So we can say that AD is parallel to BC. And the reason for that is ABCD is a parallelogram. But then we can also say that ED must be parallel to BF too. Why? Because AED and BFC is straight lines. Is straight lines. So ED is parallel to BF and ED equals BF. That's being given. It's given. So therefore, BFDE is a parallelogram. En die rede vir dit is one pair of sides is equal and parallel. Een paar sye is gelyk en ewewydig. So daarom moet BEDF of BFDE 'n parallelogram wees. Baie maklik. Let's look at this very big sketch in the middle. Let's quickly read what they've got to say about that big sketch. So let's start. Eerste ding wat hulle sê is ABCD is 'n parallelogram. ABCD is 'n parallelogram. They say it. So because that's a parallelogram, I know that AB equals CD and it's parallel to each other. En AD is ook gelyk aan BC en hulle is ook gelyk aan mekaar want dit is 'n parallelogram. Dit is gegee. Dan sê hulle BH halveer ABC. Right, let's mark this quickly. That side equals to that side and this whole side of the parallelogram, let's mark it with one little line is also equals to BC. Dan sê hulle ook, I'm reading it again, BH halveer vir ABC. BH, this line, halves this angle. So we can mark these two, B1 and B2, as equal. Hulle sê dit halveer. And then they also say that HC also halves BCD. So that angle and that angle is also equal to each other. Dan sê hulle ABC is 60 grade groot. So this whole angle is 60 degrees. So each will be 30 degrees. En dan sê hulle F is 120 grade. This one is 120 degrees, that's also given. En dan sê hulle BH is evenwydig aan BH, that's parallel to GC, that's been inserted already. En dan sê hulle ook AD word verleng na E, sodat AB gelyk is aan DE. AB is ook gelyk aan DE. Let's just quickly read that again. AB equals to DE. Ons kan daar sien dat AB is ook 30 cm. Also hy, also 30 centimeters, and DE also equals 30 centimeters. That's all been given. En dan sê hulle BC word ook verleng na F toe. So the first question that they ask is prove that BGCH is a rectangle. BGCH is a rectangle. Okay. This quadrilateral must be a rectangle. Okay, let's start here and let's quickly see. We know that ABCD is a parallelogram. ABCD is a parallelogram, so this guy will also be 30 centimeters. Then we know, because that's true, that guy will also be 60 degrees. Okay. So let's start with BGCH. We start with what's being given. BGCH. I ask that to be a rectangle, you must prove it. Maar wat weet ons van BGCH? BGCH, if you look at the picture over here, it's a parallelogram. It's a parallelogram. Okay? Why? Oorstaande sye is evenwydig. Dit weet ons for sure, because opposite sides are parallel. ABC, that's B2, ABC, B2 plus B3 equals ABC is B1 plus B2, B1 plus B2 equals 60 degrees. That's been given. That's been given. So, therefore, we know that B1 equals B2 equals 30 degrees. Okay. Now, we also know that C1 plus C2, C1 plus C2, BCD, let's just go there, BCD equals 180 degrees. BCD, ons weet ook dat BCD, met ander woorde BCD, C1 plus C2. C1 plus C2 equals 120 degrees. Because ABCD is a parallelogram, we know that these two angles are co-interior angles. So it's gewone hoeke because AB is parallel to CD because ABCD is a parallelogram. Okay, but C1 equals C2. That's been given. Therefore, they are all 60 degrees. That's been given. Okay. Now, we know this is a parallelogram. We know that that's a parallelogram. A, B, C, D, B. Okay. That's a parallelogram, but we can also see in this triangle, if that guy is 30 and that guy is 60, then H2 must equal 90 degrees. H2 moet 90 grade wees, want dit is binne hoeke van 'n driehoek. Binne hoeke van 'n driehoek. That equals 90 degrees. Interior angles of a triangle. And then, G also equals 90 degrees because that's opposite angles of a parallelogram. That also equal 90 degrees, opposite angles of the parallelogram, and then we know, therefore, B2 plus B3 must also equal 90 degrees because that's co-interior angles, because BG equals, or not equals, or parallel to HC. And now we've got the 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, and therefore BGCH is a rectangle. The interior angles are all equal to 90 degrees. Goed, die volgende vraag is, DCFE, ek moet bewys dat DCFE gelyk is aan 'n ruit. Ek moet bewys dat DCFE gelyk is aan 'n ruit. Wat weet ek van die eienskappe van 'n ruit? Ek weet, sy oorstaande of al sy sye is ewe lank. Al sy sye is ewe lank. En dan weet ek ook, sy oorstaande hoeke is ewe groot. So if I've got to prove that to be a rhombus, let's start there at F, 120 degrees. That's been given. I'm going to just make some space. So dat ons kan bewys daai is 'n ruit. Okay, let's start there. begin by hoek F is gelyk aan 120 grade. That's been given. Okay, then we can say again that C1 plus C2 is also already, plus C2, also already proven as 120 degrees previously. Dit is alreeds bewys. Ek het dit mos bewys uit my vorige vraag. Okay, that's also been proven. So now I can say that angle F equals C1 plus C2. That's what. Maar DC are parallel to EF. Okay. If that angle is equal to that angle, it means that these two lines are parallel. Why? Daarom is DC evenwydig aan EF. Because I've got corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. The opposite. If I've got corresponding angles, that makes that equal to each other. Okay, corresponding, it makes that parallel lines. Parallel to each other, not equal to each other. So, I know that AD is also parallel to BC. Okay, that's also being, because ABCD is a parallelogram, given. It's given. So DE will also be parallel to CF, because ADE en BCF is reguit lyne. So omdat DE evenwydig is aan CF en CD evenwydig is aan EF, beteken dit dat DECF is 'n parallelogram. That's a parallelogram. So I've proven this a parallelogram, but now I need to prove it in rhombus too. Now a parallelogram, that sides are all equal, must be in rhombus. Nou kom ons gaan kyk gou-gou hierso. Ons het gesê dat AB is gelyk aan ED. That's been given. AB equals DE equals 30 centimeters. That's been given. Dis gegee. Nou, omdat dit gegee is, beteken dit as hierdie ouetjie 30 cm is daai ouetjie ook 30 cm, because that's now a parallelogram. But AB is also given equal to CD. But AB also equal to CD. So that's also given. Therefore, DE equals CD equals CF equals EF, and therefore, I'm going on over here, DECF is a rhombus. Hy's 'n ruit. Want nou het ek bewys, hy is 'n parallelogram en al sy sye is gelyk. In 'n parallelogram wat sy sye almal gelyk is 'n ruit. Okay, let's go to the last question. The last question, I can immediately identify the midpoint theorem. Kan julle hom dadelik daar raak sien? as ons gaan kyk na hierdie driehoekie, dan sien ons daai deel is gelyk aan daai deel gemerk, AE equals EC, and that immediately reminds me of the midpoint theorem. And now they ask me, prove DBCF a parallelogram. Bewys DBCF as 'n parallelogram. Goed, so ek kan dadelik gaan sê, DE is evenwydig aan BC, Y midpoint theorem. Midpoint theorem. Good, let's say that immediately. And then another thing that's been given, AD equals DE, okay, that's all been given, so therefore DE is parallel to BC. But DF is also parallel to BC, and the reason is because DEF is a straight line. That's a straight line. Okay. Now the next thing. But DB, okay, that's been given. They also said it's been given that DB is parallel to FC. That's been given. DB is evenwydig, but DB is also parallel to CF. That's been given from the start. So therefore, DBCF is a parallelogram, and the reason is opposite sides are parallel. Okay, let's look at the next question. Die volgende vraag vra hulle, bepaal die lengte van DE. Nou dis baie maklik. Ons het mos geleer dat DBC is gelyk aan 2 maal DE. According to our midpoint theorem, dis my middelpunt stelling, wat so sê. And now I can do a bit of substitution. BC equals 32. So now we can divide with 2 to that side, en dit word 16, en nou kan ek my eenheid insit, millimeter, because of the midpoint theorem, and there you've got it. Graad 10, dis dan al die tipe sommetjies wat julle moet kan doen, aangaande Euklidies in julle graad 10 jaar. Kom ons gaan leer al ons leerwerkies in die eerste lesse baie mooi. Ons kyk na die toepassings in die laaste 2 lesse, en dan oefen ons. Goed, sien julle dan weer later.